delicious food, incredible views, and awe-inspiring sunsets. That's what you can expect if you're taking a trip to Santorini, Greece. Hey guys, it's Stoof from Travel SzN. Welcome back to our channel. Nate and I recently took a trip to the beautiful island of Santorini, Greece, where we only had 4 days to make the most out of our adventure. In this vlog, I'm going to share with you our itinerary for our Santorini trip, and I'm also going to let you know what you can expect if you are planning your own trip to this busy and beautiful island. Our adventure began on Saturday evening as we departed on American Airlines from the Philadelphia airport. We had pretty much a full 24 hours of travel to get to the island. Our first flight was overnight. It was really nice. They provided us with some meals on the flight, which were, your standard airplane food quality. Nate was pretty excited because I had checked a box for him to get Hindu cuisine rather than the standard food. So he was surprised with that on the plane, and he was liking that a lot. Our first layover was in London for a couple hours. We touched down in London, had some Pret sandwiches, which is one of our favorite things to get whenever we're in the London area. And then we hopped back on a plane straight to the island of Santorini. As we were touching down, the plane made a turnaround, so we had this gorgeous view of the shape of the caldera from the sky. We touched down in Santorini around 4 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. I had pre-arranged for transportation to and from our hotel, so we were picked up and we took our first ride into the town of Fira, where we were staying at the Panorama Boutique Hotel. There are very narrow streets here, so they had to park about a 5-minute walk away, where the staff from the hotel very graciously carried our luggage into the hotel for us, and we checked in and made it to our room. Not gonna lie, this view is the reason why I booked this little boutique hotel. After freshening up in our room, we decided to take a walk around the town of Fira and look for a nice spot to have some dinner. We walked up to this popular restaurant called Nausa and had some little table wine to start our evening. We ordered an appetizer of the eggplant dip, which was delicious. And then we had our meals brought out to us for dinner. Nate had more of a traditional Greek dish, and I had the pasta bolognese. I started to feel not so great in my throat and chest, and I was wondering if I was just having like an anxiety attack. I don't frequently get anxiety, so I was not sure what was happening. I knew it was getting worse and worse, and I just kept drinking lots of water, thinking that might help. And as we were walking back, I started to think this could be an allergic reaction. I have a tree nut allergy, but nothing that I ordered said that it had nuts in it. I was having a little bit of trouble breathing. I had a lot of tension in my chest. So back in the room, I just laid there worried. We're in another country. I think I'm having an allergic reaction. I don't have a Benadryl, which I usually keep with me. Nate ran out to a pharmacy and found any allergy medications that he could, brought them back to the room, and unfortunately the best thing that he could find was something similar to like your daily allergy pill, like a cetirizine or an Allegra. At this point, my face is starting to swell up, my eyes are swelling up, but I was starting to feel a little better with breathing, so I just kind of relaxed there and kept drinking fluids. After a couple hours, the feeling of tension in my chest and my throat started to relax a lot more, and I was able to go to sleep. And then the next morning, when we woke up, Nate went over to the restaurant to ask about possible nut allergens in those 2 things we ate. Turns out they crush up walnuts and put it in that eggplant dip. Fair warning to you all, if you have allergies to food, make sure you let the servers know about your allergens. At every other restaurant we stayed at this week, I let the server know about allergens, and they very clearly said yes or no to what I could eat. So it was a rough first night in Santorini, Greece. Luckily, I didn't have to go to the hospital and everything was okay. I just had a little bit of a swollen face for the rest of this trip. We headed up to breakfast, which is provided by our hotel. They have a little rooftop restaurant overlooking the port of Santorini and the Aegean Sea. After breakfast, we did a little bit of exploring of our own hotel. This boutique hotel goes all the way down the slope of the hillside here, and there are some rooms that are more of the Cycladic style with the rounded openings and things like that. So we headed down, felt like hundreds of steps down to our hotel's pool area, which is beautiful. There's a small pool and some seating with a balcony area overlooking the sea. We relaxed at the pool for a bit and then headed out into town for some shopping. I heard that this was a very crowded place, especially on days where quite a few cruise boats are at the port. And it was pretty busy, but it wasn't as busy as I expected it to be in mid-August. There also were quite a few feral cats on the island, just kind of walking around and hanging out in all of these little towns. So we grabbed some lunch on Monday. We had some delicious fresh bread, house wine again. I had the calamari and Nate had a salad. Monday was mostly spent just exploring the town of Fira, visiting the shops, and relaxing. We had dinner at the Finari restaurant, which is another one on that western side of the hill overlooking the Aegean Sea. Beautiful sunset views. This restaurant has 3 different tiers that you can sit at, so many of the seats have beautiful views of the sunset. Nate had another traditional Greek dish, and at this point I was just sticking to pizza. I knew there were no nuts in pizza, so I was just trying to be safe for dinner this evening. On Tuesday, we packed up our hiking packs and we trekked about 6 miles from the town of Fira to the town of Iya on the northwest tip of the island. I found this route on the All Trails app. On our route, we took a little break and had some gyros, which were delicious. We passed by so many beautiful little boutique hotels, lots of little restaurants and shops. Eventually, we made it to a more open, natural area. We made it through a couple smaller villages that appeared to be built up of just a few hotels and a couple little restaurants. You could see the town of Iya, your endpoint, and it just looked like this teeny tiny little town so far away. If you are interested in volcanic petrology, this is going to be an awesome hike for you because there are so many opportunities to look at outcroppings and different rocks that were all part of past eruptions and volcanic activity on this island. If you're doing this hike in the summer months, I recommend getting out there pretty early, around 6 or 7 a.m. if possible, as it gets hot midday. We were starting to get pretty hot as we were several miles into this hike. After taking in the views at dinner, we decided to try to get that picture with the famous blue domes. These blue domes are Greek Orthodox churches in Iya They're super famous. Everybody wants their picture with these domes in the background. So we walked to the first spot where you have this viewpoint of the domes, and there was an insane line going all the way up the hill to get your picture with those. So we decided we're not going to do that. We kept walking, and I saw a view of one of the domes, and there was a short line of just 6 people or so to get a picture with that view. So that's what we did. We didn't want to waste possibly an hour of our day trying to get a picture with these domes, especially as we were getting closer to sunset time. We did more exploring and shopping in the town of Ia, grabbed some tasty gelato dessert, and then walked over to the bus stop to take the bus back to Fira. The public bus is very nice. It looks like a Greyhound bus in the US. It's a big bus. We were kind of concerned because it's supposed to run every 20 minutes or so, and it seemed like more than 25 minutes had gone by before the bus came, but it did arrive. If you happen to take the bus system, this is what the buses look like. They're pretty big compared to other vehicles going around the island. The bus was less than €3 per person for a one-way trip from Ia to Fira, and it was about a 30-minute bus ride. It was just a 7 to 10 minute walk back to our hotel, where we called it a day. Good morning! It's Wednesday. Today we're going on a boat ride. On this day, we were very excited for our sailing cruise with Spiriticos Sailing Company. We booked this cruise for a half-day excursion on a catamaran that can hold 20 people or less, and this cruise was going to take us at various stopping points on the Aegean Sea around the island. I'm going to create a full video on my review of our sailing cruise with Spiriticos, but to give you a brief summary of our experience, overall I'd say it was positive. We did get to see a lot of the points on their itinerary, but we didn't get off the boat as often as I thought we would. We got off the boat on that island in the center of the caldera, which is where the active volcano still is, and sulfur is still coming out and into the sea right from this area. So we were able to float in that area, and then we got back on the boat, looked at a couple things that were supposed to be stops. We just learned a little bit about them. The boat slowed down for a bit as they talked about these features, and the next place that we got out was a peaceful snorkeling spot. The cruise ended up on the southern end of the island where we were provided with transportation back to Fira. We then walked back to our hotel, and later that afternoon I did some plein air painting from our balcony. We wrapped up our last full day in Santorini with a walk through the town of Fira and a beautiful dinner with views of the sunset over the sea. For dinner this evening, I had the pasticcio and Nate had the pasta bolognese. On our final morning in Santorini, I said goodbye to our beautiful balcony view from the hotel room, and we checked out, then headed down to the pool to kill some time before having to head back to the airport. In the afternoon, we walked back to the pickup location for our transportation to the airport, and then we took our flight back. We had a layover in London again. This time it was an overnight layover, so we had a quick stop at a local pub near the airport before calling it a night.
Let's go home.
It was a quick week packed with lots of activities and travel, so it felt great to get home to our little baby. Sierra was about 9 months old when we made it back home here. Grammy and Pap watched her all week, so we were super thankful for them. Thanks for watching our vlog of our trip to Santorini, Greece. I hope you enjoyed watching our travel experience. If you're planning your own trip to Santorini and you have questions, you can leave a comment under this video and I will answer that to the best of my knowledge. Have a wonderful day and happy travels!